Call this meeting to order. City of Groves, notice of a regular meeting of the city council chambers, Groves City Hall, July 31st, 2023 at 5 p.m. You would all rise for the prayer and pledge, please.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'd just like to share something I heard in church recently. I thought it was very profound. You live in your grandma's prayers. Those prayers got us together with us to do this evening. Heavenly Father, we pray for our government and its leaders as they govern our nation. However, we not only are to pray for the government officials in the national office, but also those in our local city. Instead of rebelling or criticizing the government, we pray the government, as well as the city council of the great city of Groves, do that which is right in your eyes, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Roll call, city clerk.
Mayor Bourne,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem McAdams,
Here.
Councilmember Dugas, here, Councilmember Oliver,
Here.
Councilmember Winston.
Here. I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. Item 4 will be approved the minutes of the July 17th, 2023 city council meeting and the July 26th, 2023 special meeting.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the July 17th, 2023 city council meeting and the July 26th, 2023 special meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and second to approve the minutes of the July 17th, 2023 city council meeting and the July 26th, 2023 special meeting. Do I have any questions? No questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams.
Aye.
Councilmember Vincent.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugas.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 5 will be reports and citizen comments. A will be to receive the no new revenue tax rate and the voter approval tax rate of the city of Groves from the county tax assessor collector's office.
We have not received any of those items from the tax assessor collectors.
Not received yet.
However, we have other things to share with council. This is going to do.
Are we still on 5? Or are we going?
We're still doing the reports. You're still receiving reports. Okay.
This is take one and pass it and one.
Well, I guess this is,
No, that would be number 6.
well, this, I guess we can defer to the city attorney.
You want to do the calendar here?
We can go
I
on
would
to
have to do citizen comment.
yes, sir. Okay. Well, let's talk about the calendar real quick then.
Do we have a calendar?
I'm passing it down right now.
It was updated about 30 minutes ago. The old one is right here if anybody wants to compare and contrast. But generally it's walking through all the dates we have for the setting the tax rate and budget going forward. We are kind of in limbo right now, waiting for the tax assessor to send us the no new revenue and voter approval tax rates. Once they do that, then we can finalize the actual budget presentation.
Do we have any indication of when that may happen?
As of conversation Thursday, they were supposed to have it to us today.
So we can check tomorrow and see.
I will be calling them tomorrow. Absolutely. Their issue is, if I may, the special session legislature passed that $100,000 homestead exemption for the tax school districts. And because of that, they've had to update their software to do these calcs, even though it doesn't affect the city per se. It's the same software they use for the schools and for us. So everybody is kind of waiting for them to update their software so they can do those calculations.
But that doesn't go into effect until next year, right?
I don't think so.
No, it goes into effect
I
this
believe
year
it goes effective this year.
for this tax season? I mean, okay.
That's my understanding. That's why they had to update it. So I'm just going off with the tax officer shared with me. Feel free to call and
No,
clarify.
that's-
I just want the numbers so we can get this.
Question marks.
I just want to get these numbers in and get it done. But regardless, as long as we get it within the next week, the city manager can still submit the budget, which is not what you'll be getting tonight, to the city clerk to be in compliance with the truth and taxation. What we'll be doing later tonight, shortly, will be for compliance reasons for the city charter. So if you understand the two different things I'm giving you there.
Yeah.
All right, but other than the cover page, it's basically going to be the same document, but the cover page will be dictated by the numbers we get from the tax assessor collector's office. So if you want to peruse it, it shows you the dates that we're going to have stuff in the paper and what have you. And what our suggested dates are, I tied the dates to the regularly scheduled council meetings. Again, this is all preliminary, none of this is in stone. So if we want to add additional workshops or other items, we can. If there's a hiccup or whatever, we still have the final meeting in September as kind of a fallback, get the rest of this stuff done.
Would that be September 11th?
No, the next meeting after that would be the 28th.
Okay, last year was the 12th, so I'm just.
Well, the 12th, but we still have one more meeting in September. We could get stuff
We can do
done.
it on, okay.
25th, I believe.
25th, whatever that's,
September 11th and 25th.
the 25th.
Yeah.
So if there's an issue, we can always push to 25th to get everything final. The goal being complete, have everything completed by October 1st. Again, please review this. If you have questions, feel free to call me or Lance and ask any questions you may have. Again, it's not written in stone. If we need to modify or adjust it, we can, or add to it, however we'd like to do it. Can't really delete from it. These are the steps we have to follow. Yeah. Just an FYI, that I do know they're working on it, is I just got notice about 45 minutes ago that our tax collection rate, you might have heard me speak, rather frustratingly, that our collection rate was at 102% last year. You may remember me saying that, and how can people have 102% collections? But this year they're going to have our collection rate at 100%.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, so that'll take a little pressure off of that. And that's all until item 6.
Any other reports?
Mayor report this month is on your Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Iraq War was an armed conflict between the United States-led coalition force against the regime of Saddam Hussein from 2003 to 2011. This was a broader campaign against terrorist activity known as the Global War on Terror. After Desert Shield and Desert Storm, the United States had hoped that the defeat of Iraqi forces would create an uprising and depose Saddam Hussein. This, of course, was not to be. Operation Iraqi Freedom began with the objective of ending the regime of Saddam Hussein, as well as find and destroy weapons of mass destruction. Operation Iraqi Freedom began with the objective of ending the regime of Saddam Hussein, as well as find and destroy the weapons of mass destruction. The operation began in March of 2003, and Baghdad fell on the 9th of April of that same year. By 2002, Iraq had long been in violation of the Gulf War settlement. Iraq had agreed to weapons inspection by the United Nations and to abide by no-fly zones. Saddam Hussein defied this agreement by refusing access to military bases for weapons inspections and continually violating the no-fly zones in the region. The CIA reported to government officials that Iraq was actively seeking to make it acquire weapons of mass destruction. This turned out to be untrue. Paired with Iraq's refusal to allow weapons inspectors onto key sites, Iraq appeared to be a major threat to national security. President George Bush first referred to Iran, Iraq, and North Korea as the axis of evil in the State of the Union address on January 29th of 2002. In November of 2002, the United Nations Security Council passed Resolution 1441, warning of serious consequences if Iraq did not offer unrestricted access to the United Nations weapons inspectors. Following a failed attempt to appeal to the United Nations for a mandate to invade Iraq, the United States, along with forces from Australia, Denmark, the Netherlands, Poland, Great Britain, launched Iraqi freedom on the March 19th, 2003, President George W. Bush declared the end of major combat operations, and a coalition provisional authority was established as the first of several successive transitional governments. Unfortunately, the armed conflict was far from over. On December 13th, Saddam Hussein of 2003 was captured and subsequently killed. Executed. On December 18, 2011, the United States completely withdrew its forces from Iraq following a gradual withdrawal that began with an announcement by President Obama in February 2009. Over 4,400 Americans and nearly 100,000 Iraqis were killed in the conflict that lasted over 8 years. As of March 20th, 2023, the number of American forces in Iraq is estimated at this time to be 2,500 soldiers, mainly deployed at Al Assad Air Base, Camp Victory, and at Al Harir Air Base. So this has been a problem for a long time. We thought it was over. It's not. It went over in 2011 when I was there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Any other reports? No reports. Do you have any citizen comments at this time? Any citizen comments? We'll move on. Item number 7, the city manager delivers budget to the city clerk.
Mayor and council, here is our city manager estimated budget for the fiscal year 2023-2024. On the front, there is a memo that, if you'll look, we made some revisions to the budget that we put out during workshops. It shows those revisions. Those right there were discussed in the workshops. And then there are some further ones that upon further review and meetings with Lamar and myself, we made a few other changes in there to balance out the budget as well. So if you want to take some time after tonight's meeting and look over anything, feel free. This is your copy. The official draft won't really be any different than this. It'll just have an official cover page with everything on it, but it should be this exact same budget on there. If you have any questions or comments.
It's been modified from what we discussed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And those changes should be laid out for you in this memo here. And then some further explanation will be made in the cover page that we give, that we present to council as well. But if anybody has any questions or comments about anything, feel free to call me or email me, or however you want, or come by and we'll sit down and talk about it as well.
That's correct. It's to comply with the charter, the city manager's estimate. It's different than the budget.
You said this is the estimate?
This is the city manager's budget estimate. That's to comply with the charter. Normally, we give the budget officially that complies with state law as well as our charter. If we don't have the numbers from the appraisal or a tax collector, we can't give you the budget at the time.
All right. Moving on. Item number 7A, consider approval to hold a public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purposes to review the city of Grove's proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 appropriation ordinance.
I make a motion to consider approval to hold a public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purpose to review the city of Grove's proposed fiscal year 2023-24 appropriation ordinance.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to consider approval to hold a public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purpose to review the city of Grove's proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 appropriation ordinance. Do you have any questions?
Mayor and council staff is recommending August 24th or August 14th, excuse me. Be the date for the public hearing. It's a regularly scheduled council meeting date for the appropriation ordinance as required by the city charter.
And that's in your timeline here.
Yes, sir.
I have no issues with the 14th. We're gonna be here anyway.
Mayor made my motion for the 14th.
I'll amend my motion to consider holding the public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purpose of review the city of Grove's proposed fiscal year 2023-24 appropriation ordinance for August the 14th, 2023.
Maybe a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to consider approval to hold a public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purpose to review the city of Grove's proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 appropriation ordinance for August 14th, 2023, following the regular scheduled meeting. Any questions? No questions, we'll vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bensel.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugas.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 7B, consider approval to hold a public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purpose to review the city of Grove's proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 budget. Take a motion on the second.
Make a motion, we consider approval to hold a public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purpose of review the city of Grove's proposed 2023-2024 budget.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to consider approval to hold a public hearing at Grove City Hall for the purpose to review the city of Grove's proposed fiscal year 2023-2024 budget. Do you have any questions?
I would like to just ask, I don't know exactly how to ask this, but our next item is to vote on a work session. And if we're gonna have a public hearing on the budget, I think we should have voted on a work session first before doing the public hearing for the budget. So that we have a work session first. I mean, we just got 3 pages of revisions for the budget. I think our due diligence would be to have, oops, sorry. I think our due diligence would be to have a workshop before we have the public hearing for the budget. So I mean, if we
I think
have,
we still have the ability to have a meeting before that.
do what now?
We still have the ability to have the meeting before that 28th.
This goes on to the 28th.
This is gonna be, the what? It's gonna-
This one's proposed for the 28th. We could set the workshop for any day before that.
Okay, oh, fine,
That's just what's recommended is the 28th
To
for
follow
the
the
joint public
timeline.
hearing.
But the workshop can be
It can be
within 72 hours of today.
Right.
Yeah,
And we still have the
The
14th.
28th is the city council meeting,
Correct.
right?
Regular schedule.
Okay, so I see how you're gonna do it. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make that clear. I just wanted to ask that question, make sure.
Because we'll still have the meeting on the 14th if we need to vote on any changes for the budget.
Okay,
So
that's good.
we have time.
That's good. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure it was, all the meetings were fixed where we have all the information we needed before we get to a public hearing.
And the 28th is a regular meeting.
That's
Right.
correct.
Yes, sir.
right. Shouldn't have any issue with that. If everybody's good with that, yeah, absolutely.
I'll amend my motion to hold a public hearing at the City of Groves City Hall on August 28th, 2023, for the purpose to review the City of Groves proposed 2023-2024 budget.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to consider approval to hold a public hearing at the Grove City Hall for the purpose to review the City of Grove's proposed 2023-2024 budget on August 28th, 23, following the regular scheduled meeting. Do you have any questions? No questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams.
Aye.
Councilmember Benson.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugas.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 7C, discuss and take vote on setting a work session for the fiscal year ending 2023-2024 budget.
I make a motion, we discuss and take vote on setting a work session for the fiscal year end 2023-24 budget.
Second.
A motion and a second to discuss and take vote on setting a work session for the fiscal year ending 2023-2024 budget. Do I have any questions?
Mayor and council was approached to see if we could have another work session by Ms. Dugas and Mr. Oliver. We have time this week or next week, if y'all want to, before the next council meeting. And you have your budgets in front of you to go through and look and check everything out.
Yes, sir. I think it would be appropriate to have another workshop. There's so many questions to me that are not answered, and we just got, like I said earlier, we just got 3 pages of revisions. I think we owe the taxpayers another meeting to make sure that we're clear on all of the budget requests, information, everything. I mean, then we'll have we should have the Jefferson County Appraisal District information.
Yes, let's hope so.
72 hours, so is anybody have any issues with the 7th or 8th?
The 7th, I have a planning and zoning meeting. The 8th will be good for me. Is that good for anybody else?
Yeah.
8. I'll amend my motion.
All right.
I'll amend my motion to discuss, take a vote on setting the work session for the fiscal year end 2023-24 budget for August 8th, 2023,
5 p.m.
5 p.m.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to include the date of August 8th, 2023 at 5 p.m. for setting a work session to review the budget, 2023-24 budget. Any questions? No questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams.
Aye.
Councilmember Benson.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugas.
Aye.
Motion passed. 7D, discuss and approve City of Groves to enter into a contract with Epic Engineers to develop, design, install, and provide training for the new SCADA upgrades to the City of Groves water and wastewater treatment facilities.
I make a motion, we discuss and approve the City of Groves to enter into a contract with Epic Engineers to develop, design, install, and provide training for needed SCADA upgrades to City of Groves water and wastewater treatment facilities.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to discuss and approve the City of Groves to enter into a contract with Epic Engineers to develop, design, install, and provide training for needed SCADA upgrades to the City of Groves water and wastewater treatment facilities. Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Uh,
We have Troy Foxworth here.
Yes, this is the SCADA system that we've talked about in previous meetings. It was to upgrade the computer system that runs the water plant and the wastewater plant. And I know this is kind of rushed. We have a contract. I have Aaron right here with Epic Engineering, the one that is in question right now. And I have a copy of the contract that he's already come up with. You guys would.
I've got one question in regards to this.
Yes, sir.
Speaking with an engineer, background in wastewater. Didn't we, wasn't Southlake supposed to give us a workup on the headworks for the treatment plant?
Yes, sir. He's working on that right now. He's came up with some preliminary, some numbers. And we sat down and talked about it and they're coming in really good. I spoke with Lance about it. I don't have any hard numbers, but he is working on that still. Yes, that's going on.
All right, so do we have any idea when any of that will?
Very soon. That's the best I got. He's got some pretty, like I said, some very good numbers. It's right within our budget.
All right, what? The discussion I had with this, engineering, person, the SCADA system operates the system that is looking to be put in, am I correct?
It's part of it, but the SCADA system runs everything, not just that part.
Right, so my question is, how can you go and put a SCADA system in when you don't know what equipment you're gonna have? One of the things he explained to me is that the equipment that you put in, the SCADA system actually operates that. So how can you go and put a system in when you don't know the equipment that's gonna be going in yet?
The system's gonna have plenty of spares.
Could you please
Can you
say?
come up here? Yeah, this is Aaron. I can't remember the last name. I'll say it. Go ahead. Okay.
The new system is gonna have enough spare IO to accommodate any changes that happen at the plant. I mean, we don't just put in the system to accommodate the existing plant. It's flexible enough to accommodate any new changes.
Okay, so if we took the system that we're using right now and had the new equipment installed, let's say just over the next few years, then can we come in and put a new SCADA system in, but yet let our system that we're using now at least get us down the road? Because it seems like we're putting the cart before the horse. You're putting a system in. So now you're looking at having to spend additional monies down the road to upgrade, to go to the new equipment. You put a system in, but now you're gonna bring those people back to make the new equipment you put in fit. In other words, you're gonna put a system in right now
I think I know what you're asking.
that's gonna operate, but a year or two from now, you're gonna put some new equipment in. So now we've got to bring you back in to make your system that was put in 2 years ago work on this new equipment we just
That's
installed.
gonna be the case anytime you make any upgrade to your plant. But as of right now, your system is fully antiquated. You're running on computers that have old operating systems. You're running on controllers that are end of life. You're running on communication protocols that are no longer used anywhere. So you're setting yourself up for failure by not upgrading your system.
And I'm not saying that it doesn't need upgrade. I'm not saying that. I'm looking at how we're spending the money. Are we putting the cart before the horse? Do we need to look at, getting a little bit farther down the road with the equipment? And then looking at bringing in the upgrade.
Are y'all changing the functionality of Headworks? Are y'all adding equipment or just changing like
It's
sound equipment?
Just changing the equipment. It's not exactly the same equipment that they're looking at, but it's something that definitely these two guys can talk and he can make the arrangements at the time, knowing what was being put in. Am I correct on this? Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like he's gonna come in and put the system in and then the other company's gonna come in and then he has to come back. They can work together at the same time.
Well, and I'm not gonna put it in the system and disappear either. I already do regular maintenance on y'all's current system. And the proposal for y'all's new SCADA is to be a system that lasts a lot longer than y'all's typical SCADA because we upgrade it constantly. So we're gonna be there regardless, whether y'all do a new project or not.
I'm not opposed to what, I guess it just seems like we're alerted. First off, we're waiting for Southlake to get us, something on their projected plan for the plant.
I think you're thinking of this the wrong way though, because you're gonna have to do double the work, even if you don't upgrade your SCADA now. because you're gonna have to integrate that equipment into your old SCADA and then, you know, incorporate it into a new SCADA. You're gonna have to do the work twice regardless.
System we have now, what you're telling me that if you brought in the equipment, this new equipment, will the system we have right now,
No, not in its current state. You would have to hire me to come integrate that equipment into your current SCADA. Just like you would have to hire me 2 years from now to incorporate that equipment into your new SCADA. It'd be the same thing either way.
so you're gonna come in and put this new SCADA system in to fit the equipment that's existing right now.
We're replacing the equipment as well, the control equipment.
Control equipment, that's the electronic portions that actually run the blowers, pumps, motors, am I correct?
Correct.
All right, but the pumps and motors is what I'm talking about. So you're gonna set your system up to operate what's existing right now.
Correct.
And then as the equipment is, new equipment is changed out, or the old equipment is changed out to the new systems, then you would come and the new SCADA system would be or start set up to operate the new pumps.
Correct. It was pumps in addition to existing pumps. If they're just replacing existing pumps, there'll be no need for SCADA upgrades.
I can say one thing too. We've been actually asking for the SCADA system to be upgraded before we started the project for the sewer plant. The SCADA system runs the water plant as well as the wastewater plant. Water plant is suffering right now. We're struggling to get by on a day-to-day basis. So we need that for the water plant. He can start the water plant before he even starts the wastewater plant, if I'm correct, because it's two separate systems and they're going to integrate them together to where we can run them off of both systems.
Do you understand? I'm not, the reason I'm asking these questions is so we as citizens of this town can understand. If we don't ask questions, then we don't
No, by
know.
all means.
So this is the means of how we can figure out, are we spending money wisely? I've got to ask the question if I don't understand it. So it's not that I'm against what we're trying to achieve here. Not at all. I understand, and we've had numerous discussions about the struggles y'all have with the systems that we've got. And I understand that. I just want to make sure that we spend the money wisely, that we're not putting a cart before the horse.
Right.
That's my question, you know, and I think you've answered that, and I understand that. I appreciate that.
If approved, how soon could you get it started and finished?
Biggest issue right now is logistics on parts. If we approved it today and started ordering, it'd probably be about 30 weeks before everything came in, and that's not getting any better, unfortunately.
You want to procure all equipment before you start?
We could start SCADA configurations and get computers in for front end, but for controllers, for PLCs, for control cabinets, that's where our longest lead times are. But again, we could sit down and stage out the project, yes, start it before all parts were in.
What would be the most efficient way to do it? Work it as you go, or?
Oh, very much prefer to work it as we go, just because we've already worked with the city for about 3 years now, and I know the system very well, and we would prioritize it based on need, which as of right now is the water treatment plant.
Okay, so you're saying that the equipment, we're getting new equipment for the wastewater treatment plant, the things that we've discussed previously, but it's not been figured out yet?
It's been figured out. He's just coming up with the final numbers and getting everything. So the bar screen system, the grit removal system, those are the two main items that were on that. And he has a system that he's got set up and it's similar. The functions, they're very similar. It's just an upgraded version of it. But yeah, he's got the numbers. He's just going to get hard numbers.
So if we do this first and then the equipment comes in, then this gentleman has to come back and reconfigure.
It'll probably be in the process of, it'll be working together. I mean, the way it's working and their equipment as it's coming in for South Tech, when they start bringing their system in, and installing it, it'll probably be close to what he,
I
about
can't
the same
imagine it's gonna
time.
change the SCADA much, because as of right now, the SCADA does not control the bar string, it just gets indication from the bar string that it's working.
Yeah.
So the new system will probably work very much the same way, where the bar string works and operates on its own, and it just lets the SCADA know that it is working properly. But I don't see much integration difference between the existing and the new HayWorks bar string.
Would there be additional charges?
No. I mean, we charge time and material coming out for service calls, but something like this, like I said, I don't see there being any need for integration for it. Not from a SCADA standpoint. That's all field labor, which is not what we're gonna be doing. We're just doing the front end integration for your SCADA monitoring system. The bar string will come with its own controls to control itself. Which is how the existing bar string works.
I'd just like to point out to the council that, our estimation is we have about 1.6 in the CLFRF that has not been obligated. And the funds would be coming out of that $1.6 million. And we believe with the, works that South Tex is doing, we'll be able to fit both projects in that $1.6 million.
And this is considered infrastructure?
Yes.
It fits all the criteria that we need for that.
Yeah.
We have how long for that 1.6?
I think it's till 2025 that we have to have it, obligated.
Yeah, it's 2025, December of 2025.
Is that,
Yes, it's very doable.
Any other questions?
If he goes ahead and does this and puts these, SCADA in, then what we have now, and Mr. Motor can probably talk about this, but what we have now is gonna work with it.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am, this has all
So
been
it's-
approached as a migration upgrade, not a replacement upgrade. The controllers that we're replacing the existing controllers with were made to replace these controllers. Same brand.
we wanna make sure everything's gonna
No,
work
and if y'all have any further
together.
questions, by all means,
Yeah.
my number is on the proposal. I would love to answer questions, because I'm very much with you. We gotta do the due diligence for the taxpayers.
Absolutely. Yes, sir, thank you very much.
Any other questions?
And you think these two projects are gonna work together for the 1.6 million?
Yes, ma'am, we do. From the initial numbers that we're getting from South Tex for the headworks, we think both projects will work.
Okay, good. Do we have any, we haven't passed any back to city council yet?
No, we have not. We are still waiting for a genuine estimate on it before we come to council. We want some hard numbers from you.
Yeah, but your first best guess, or their first best guess, it will work within the 1.6
Yes, ma'am.
million. Good, okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Okay. No other questions, we'll vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams.
Aye.
Councilmember Benzel.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugas.
Hi,
Motion passes. Seven E. Consider approval of an order calling for a general election to be held on November 7th, 2023, for the purpose of electing a council member of Ward number 1 and a council member of Ward number 3.
I make a motion, we consider approval of an order calling for a general election to be held on November 7th, 2023, for the purpose of electing a council member for Ward 1 and a council member for Ward 3.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to consider approval of an order calling for a general election to be held on November 7th, 2023, for the purpose of electing a council member for Ward number 1 and a council member for Ward number 3. Do you have any questions? Mr. Monk, do I need to read this order?
The order itself does not need to be read.
Okay,
It's the notice that we want to read.
the next one.
Right, that's correct.
Have any questions? No questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams.
Aye.
Councilmember Benson.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugas.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 7F, notice of a general election to be held on November 27, 2023 in the city of Groves. And I'll read this notice. No action, no motion required. Notice of a general election to the registered voters of the city of Groves, Texas. By order of the city council, notice is hereby given that the polling places listed below will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on November 7th, 2023 for voting in a general election to elect the following municipal officers. Council member in Ward number 1 for a 2-year term. Council member in Ward number 3 for a 2-year term. The early voting polling locations within the city of Groves is as follows. The Groves Recreation Center, 6150 39th Street, Groves, Texas, 77619. In addition, qualified voters of the city of Groves may vote at any other early voting locations adopted by Jefferson County listed in Exhibit A attached hereto on the dates and during the times listed in said Exhibit A. The election day polling locations within the city of Groves will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as follows. Groves Recreation Center, 6150 39th Street, Groves, Texas, 77619. Groves Public Library, 5600 West Washington, Groves, Texas, 77619. In addition, qualified voters of the city of Groves may vote at any other election day vote centers adopted by Jefferson County listed in Exhibit B, attached hereto from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Early voting by mail, the office of the county clerk of Jefferson County Courthouse, 1085 Pearl Street, first floor, Beaumont, Texas, 77701, shall be the voting place for all early voting by mail, and the name and mailing and physical address of the early voting clerk are Roxanne Acosta Helberg, Jefferson County Clerk, mailing address, P.O. Box 1151, Beaumont, Texas, 77704-1151. Physical address, Jefferson County Courthouse, 1085 Pearl Street, first floor, Beaumont, Texas, 77701. All city of Groves applications for ballot by mail shall be mailed to the early voting clerk, Roxanne Acosta Helberg, Jefferson County Clerk, P.O. Box 1151, Beaumont, Texas, 77704-1151, or delivered by common or contact carrier to Roxanne Acosta Helberg, Jefferson County Clerk, 1085 Pearl Street, first floor, Beaumont, Texas, 77701. Early voting clerk, phone number 409-835-8760. Email countyclerk@co.jefferson.tx.us. Website https://www.jeffersonelections.com. Early voting by mail shall be conducted during the same period as early voting by personal appearance, except that envelopes containing mailed ballots must arrive with the address on the carrier envelope before the polls are closed or required to close on election day, unless otherwise determined to be timely pursuant to Article 86.007 Texas Election Code. Applications by ballot by mail must be received no later than the close of business on October 27th, 2023. Issued this 31st day of July 2023. I hereby certify that the above is true and correct. A copy of the notice of general election as the same appears in the minutes of the city council on file in the office of the city clerk. Witness my hand in the official seal of said city of Groves this 31st day of July 2023. Well, I didn't have to read it. 7G, consider approval of election services contract between Jefferson County and the city of Groves.
I make a motion we consider approval of an election services contract between Jefferson County and the city of Groves.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to consider approval of an election services contract between Jefferson County and the city of Groves. Do you have any questions? Larissa, is there any indication of how much this is gonna cost? Not yet, okay.
About 30,000, no, wait, was it 100,000?
I don't think it'll be as much as last year, but I don't wanna say that.
We budgeted 30
We
thousand.
budgeted 30 just in case, but I'm hoping it'll be less than last year.
I think 76 last year.
That's because the
I think
run.
it's 18.
Yeah, it was 31 something, the highest, because we had a runoff election 1 year.
That was the year before. So we budgeted 30 just in case. But I'm hoping it won't be more than last year. Hopefully it'll be less.
Any other questions? No other questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Benzel.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugan.
Aye.
Motion passed. 8A, City Attorney, consider approval of ordinance 2023-11 calling for a general election to be held on November 7, 2023 for the purpose of electing a council member for Ward number 1 and a council member for Ward number 3. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion, we consider approval of ordinance 2023-11 calling for a general election to be held on November 7th, 2023 for the purpose of electing a council member for Ward number 1 and a council member for Ward number 3.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to consider approval of ordinance 2023-11 calling for a general election to be held on November 7th, 2023 for the purpose of electing a council member for Ward number 1 and a council member for Ward number 3. Any questions, Mr. Monk?
An ordinance calling an election in accordance with the order of the city council to be held within the city of Groves on the 7th day of November 2023 for the purpose of electing a council member in Ward number 1 for a 2-year term and a council member in Ward number 3 for a 2-year term, fixing the hours thereof, declaring the qualifications of candidates, providing means by which candidates may secure a place upon the ballot, declaring the qualifications of electors, providing terms of office, providing for the adoption and incorporation of an election services agreement between Jefferson County, Texas, and the city of Groves, providing for a joint election, establishing polling places, and providing for the appointment of election officials, providing for publication and posting of notices, providing for posting a list of candidates, providing for preparation of ballots and expenses of election, providing that all notices, ballots, and other materials be bilingual, to wit, English and Spanish, providing for electronic voting, and providing an effective date.
Any questions? No questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams.
Aye.
Councilmember Benzel.
Aye.
Councilmember Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember Dugas.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 9 will be an executive session. The city council will meet in an executive session to consult with its attorney pursuant to Texas Local Government Code Section 551.071 related to the Star Lake EPA matter. We will go to our chamber back there.
Thinking then we're good.
You want to write something down?
Yeah.
We need names.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah. I'll get it. Yeah, I think you could. I think you could. Mr. Monk. Yes. Come through, right?
You can.
Yeah. I wish you could.
I don't think I'll have anything to this one. Since it's at all.
You can leave, all they gotta do when they come back.
We'll be back.
I won't be here because there's still action to be taken. Action items tabled.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, let's
Right.
go.
I'm glad I did it.
Usually goes in one and out the other, so.
I'm sure y'all gonna pay to. I'm sure you'll pay to.
I don't know, I'm all about
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm the only one that they win. Yeah. Oh, don't give me the bills anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one over here by. What we get on radar is that the whole. I'm just saying. I don't remember, that's been a lot, I told him when you didn't show up, I was going, oh my goodness. Well, I have done my, I've done my best. Oh, you know, we're doing, when I hand signals. Before 99? What did it? It's making them understand. Pushing.
If I had numbers before, then I could look at it a little more.
We don't do it for nobody's expecting comments. Don't worry about it.
I get it.
That clear enough as mine? Clear as mine?
No, not at all.
Come on now. I can't make the tax officer do it.
I think you should.
They got their own challenges regarding.
And I didn't think that 100,000 was gonna be this budget for the tax rate.
I don't know. That's what they told me. I wasn't gonna debate it with them.
That's surprising.
I mean, I hope it is for selfish reasons, sure, but, that's their comment, that was their justification for why they're running slow, they update the software.
I'm not like, I didn't think.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not gonna stay here jumping in, somebody's got.
There was another leader.
That's why you're the only one in here.
Yeah.
I'm out of here myself.
I
am, I'm gonna sit back here and take a nap.
Just borrow one of them.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting up there, you can sit in there.
No, you did it, I was thinking,
Get to feel important to be still there.
All right, well, I'm out of here, we'll see you later.
Not looking at comp on there.
Oh, no, I don't charge it. Oh, tomorrow morning.
With
Stainless?
I want the,
Yeah, she told me we're gonna try to get her tomorrow. Wednesday afternoon.
we can turn that around for 1 year.
No, that's not, I'm not worried about that. I want her to explain, and I got my guys gonna be there. I want, they don't argue with her. Cause she keeps saying RG11, RG2, whatever.
Give me the number on it.
Okay, RG11 is what she's saying, and that's what she's going by. Well, I wanna be clear. Nobody's clear on it. I wanna make sure we all understand. That's what I'm saying. Well, I wanna make sure all my.
They run that plant since 05, 06.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, we're not looking at it.
One thing we're reporting is wrong, but nobody else is calling.
But this year,
And check this out. We have a work tower that's been there since about 84. And, the engineer that designed it, and the other previous TCQ, TRCC, they approved everything. They overlooked the fact that the inlet tube is 14 inches and the overflow is 8. So the overflow it's undersized. So we're gonna replace that one pipe in a 140 foot tower, which is this one.
So if you ever get to that situation, you have fan on top, it's like a 24 inch. Like, I'm not an engineer, but I'm pretty sure we're not gonna pop that tag. It's gonna blow out of the vent.
No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed.
No, this is exactly. Oh, yeah. We're gonna take your
All right, we'll see y'all. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
I ain't waiting. Good luck.
But that's not the first
Can't talk about it. And they can talk about it. It would be, if they pull you in there, then otherwise inappropriate to discuss.
I didn't know. I put them.
Try to help, man. Try to help. Need any other issues? All right, well, good luck, guys.
All right.
Enjoy the invoices.
Come back next day.
Hey, you wanna go get dinner and come back?
Yeah.
Here's what we want. Jump quick. It's on the pages.
Yeah, we're the one that made my camera.
That's awesome.
That's
I mean, I know I got put off today and tomorrow, but I still get the bills. And that's all that. All right. Cause I gotta do papers on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'll be in the office. So, well, not in the office, I'll be on patrol on Wednesday, but I'll be there, have to fill my own out. I love it. I love it.
Right there, all for the law, because
I got drug into that, like. So many, it's like, hey, meeting starting, Boudreaux, we need you in here. That's it. So I found out as they were saying it, what I was doing. I think, oh, okay. So now, we don't get paid, right? It's your fault. No, it's not. They would know that.
And then the next thing is, the mail lines out, that's
That's where they're looking at?
No, it's much, that's what it works.
Oh.
It's dangerous. I mean, I even put a wall on the right side of that from the market.
So. Robertson's wife is an engineer. I know that, drew something up.
Yeah, they got the,
They did, oh yeah, that's right, they got that last, I guess last week or last week. That's right.
oh, what the hell is great. It's gonna work. It's just- The other for what?
Yeah.
For that stuff, 10 months, that's years.
Yeah, but. I don't think it would be for us.
I hope.
I don't think it would be for us.
For us to know that switch when we get there.
Especially if we have a guy. Between us, and I mean, Robert, between us and, the fire department, be sure somebody knows somebody. No. Yeah, like, hey, this is what we're trying to do, and get right on this.
Yeah, that water tower, who was the engineer that stamped that way back when? We gotta have a schematic somewhere.
Yeah, push number, Darren has that, but it's just, I said, write me up on it, I don't care, we'll just push it on the schematics on it and fight it. It's awesome.
Yeah, but get them involved. I mean, that's what
It's not a problem on mountains. I think it's good when they start some, and it's the way it's running. I mean, we talked about it.
I would suggest you not pick the fight, let's tell them they're the fight.
Well, that's what I'm saying, just give me the information and where, you know, because they're gonna call it, they're where supposedly violating. Right, show me where I do this, and then I'll get the engineers to play. I've done it before, actually, David and I have to go off to because we are using system pressure to backwash our filters.
Right.
Which I knew we weren't going through that. Well, because they approved it, and they made it all the way through Austin, and they built the plan. We proved that our system doesn't fluctuate with pressure. I mean, it doesn't run full now.
No, I get it.
But if we'd have been in Dallas where you got different planes, we could have done.
No,
So, yeah, we proved it, we have that exemption. I just don't think we should apply for an exemption when they're running a plant. Since the 80s, or not a tower, but the 80s.
I get it. All I'm saying is, we pay good money to them engineers, let them fight them, not you, not me, not the city, let the engineers do their job.
Yeah, and that's what we entertain this.
Yeah.
Especially with the. There's a rule there.
Yeah.
You interpret one way, everybody else is a different way. It's not a good interpretation, it's what the rule says.
Yeah, I
So we're in there. And any way they say it, there's no one change.
No, I'm with you, I just, again, we paid those guys good money, let them fight our battles, you know what I'm saying? Okay. If I don't got a stamp, you don't got a stamp, let the guys with the stamp take care of it.
No one inspectors, they don't understand period.
Well, fair enough. Let them hold that stamp over everybody's head and then. Whatever.
It's funny when the one that's bringing it here. Didn't.
Just trying to hit one of the after he doesn't do it for 20 odd years. Good grief. Okay, good luck with all that.
It's just a one state and then trying to justify their existence.
I know they got a thing, it's not just proving that they're doing something.
Right, it's for the things like that, was just, you know, I'm with that.
Yeah.
We'll fix it, they're rules and send them back and say, we're good. Give me some else, but I make a few popular.
See you later.
All right, have a good evening.
Yeah, I'm mentioning it's home.
Yeah, but I was thinking.
But dealing with rifle, I mean, like, what's the big step? Because the furthest back that you go with rifle and training is 50.
Yeah, this is just 100 foot. That's all it is. I was just saying if there was not a place that fit. So what it is with our old pipe, you got a filter, you got like 20 foot of concrete thing. Yeah, over here, you got another 20 foot over here. The end of it's open, you just build a wall on the back side of it and have an indoor catch.
Yeah, but I think what they're doing is because we're trying to partner with the fire department, they're trying to do a joint, like, training area. I think that's what it is. I haven't
Yeah, I've seen all the stuff they're talking about. I mean, I like what they're saying. I don't have a problem with it. So I think it's great. But if it's having, and I know what they said was like, give me the price, like your ideal place.
That's what they're saying. They said shoot for the moon whenever you're like, tell us what you want.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Don't try to
All of theirs, $80,000 for dirt. We have that pile of dirt sitting over there as well.
Right.
They have it.
They know that.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
So that's myself.
Yeah.
That, and we have, now, the problem is it's just running that fast. Don't the time, and don't show you how we know.
Yeah.
And then while we're doing this, here, we can haul weapons in there instead of going over it, straight haul to the facility.
Yeah, and then all your
Make it no burn. One week to die. Well, the ground goes, well, measure, following your dirt. Yeah, I'll build armor like that, just to get on top of it, like a little truck like that.
Because these seven can't do anything, they will be a big project as far as conservation. That all, this all right there. And again, they're not allowed to sue. It's not allowed to do. The roads, there's the big battery. And the guy said, Ronald, you want to do it. So, all that. Extend the company, people struggle. So, and then we come to the
Molly, you're on camera. It's still recording.
I'm on camera every day of my damn life.
It's still recording.
Well, I watch those videos of those First Amendment guys and you got those people in the shots and everything. They're like, don't record me. Seriously, you get recorded every damn day of your life when you open up your phone. All these ring cameras do. Oh, I don't even have that crap. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I make sure that I make my neighbor mad every time I bring my garbage can out, because all of a sudden I get a notice on my window, on my door, saying from now on, bring your garbage can to marked areas in the road. What? Sorry, what? What? So, well, wait. Yeah, so I live in Colsat. Well, somebody complained that I'm like, well, then is the city gonna come and fix mine? Because I've got a drop like that from the end of my driveway to the road. From, Dogwood. Well, the guy across the street that doesn't have an issue in his driveway. Which mine's been there since I moved in 6 years ago. It's been there, it hadn't changed. It is what it is. I don't have anything to fix it. Could it be from dump trucks pulling up and backing out? Maybe. I don't care. Suddenly it's not now, I have to grab my garbage can, bring it halfway up the cul-de-sac on the other side of the street, just to get my trash. Because one person complained, like, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Go to the driveway. I don't care. I'm not gonna talk to him if I have a problem. Like, I'm not dragging my garbage can halfway up the cul-de-sac. And then whoever packs spray painting these marks in the road, I mean, one of them is literally this. Like, it's supposed to like, put it in there. I don't even get it in mark spot.
This is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't even put it in a marked spot.
We had one person complaining because they were mad at the other guys. I mean, when you slam them together, they literally can't get it. They can't do it. And I understand that you got to be able to get out there. Where you're picking a 900 cans a day, it puts you behind, you know? And so if you had to get out in that picture,
It's your own fault for how you put your garbage can. If your garbage can gets,
well, he
gets knocked
I
over.
was in there one time and knocked on the can over and picked it up and he just drove it down and set it in.
I know.
So, when you spray painted on the ring, this is where you do it, just 5 feet apart, that's all that's. Just don't put them that close together, that's all we're asking.
And we get all these, somebody stole my garbage can, I'm like, no, nobody stole your garbage can. What happened was it picked it up and it just slid on in. Somebody stole it. No, I guarantee you nobody stole it.
Hopefully these new trucks have them lost and get it.
Yeah. I mean, we've had one in the last year. It wouldn't be a method that was still garbage can. It would be all these duck hunters when it gets close to.
Oh, there you go, there you go. Perfect lot.
Greater than that. Okay.
Being,
Oh, Rob, we're not done yet. Wait, wait,
Got you. Thank you.
welcome back. We'll reconvene the open session. Item number 9, city manager invoices.
Invoice approval list for July 31st, 2023. Chastain's Bayou City Ford Auto Car Garbage Truck, $346,230. Core and Main L&P supplies for water lines and 3-inch meters to replace non-functioning meters at Hopedale Apartments, $9,303.17. Total for July 31st, 2023, $355,533.17.
Make a motion, we approve the invoice list of July 31st, 2023 for $355,533.17.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the invoice list for July 31st, 2023 for a total of $355,533.17. Do you have any questions? Any questions? No questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem McAdams. Councilmember Benson.
Aye.
Councilmember Auburn.
Aye.
Councilmember Dukes.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 12, councilmember comments.